underneath our neighborhoods and communities, stretching across farms and forest, crossing below rivers, streams, and roads, and supporting our everyday lives are America's pipelines. Natural resources like crude oil and natural gases are the raw material for the energy we consume. The United States has the highest per capita energy use in the world, and 2.4 million miles of pipelines deliver the majority of that energy. Today, pipelines are the safest, most reliable, and the only feasible way to transport significant volumes of petroleum energy long distances, from oil fields to refineries, and then eventually to the cars, trucks, and commercial vehicles we drive. And it takes a partnership between the community and the pipeline operator to deliver it safely.
At Wolverine Pipeline, we've made the safe delivery of petroleum products our #1 priority since 1952, operating over 700 miles of pipeline to transport over 14 million gallons of gas and diesel fuel a day from the refineries in the Chicago area to more than 50 Michigan counties, supplying 1/3 of all of the fuel used in Michigan. Delivering that product safely requires constant teamwork and attention to detail, and while accidents can sometimes happen, we believe that they are almost always preventable. That's why a culture of safety is at the top of our core values. Central to our goal of maintaining the highest standards in the nation is our development of community partnerships with local first responders, landowners, and public officials. When these partnerships are strong and engaged, the best results are achieved. Wolverine's Partners in Pipeline Education Outreach Program, or PIPE, promotes education awareness and involvement to strengthen these relationships and ensure safety across the entire Wolverine system. We hope you take a few minutes to watch this presentation and visit us online to learn more about the different ways we work to keep communities safe and how everyone can help.
The safety of the whole pipeline starts and originates with the engineering process and continues on through the manufacturing phase and into the construction phase. The actual chemical composition is one that allows it to be welded properly, get good yield strength, and be flexible enough and soft enough that it won't be brittle. Then we test all the welders. Every welder in here goes through a full welding qualification process. They all have to pass that before they're allowed to weld out in the field. When we do that welding, we have qualified welding inspectors watching every welder in addition. Once the weld has been completed, we do a full radiograph or an X-ray of these welds. The system we chose for this one is a new type that is called real-time radiography. You can look at it on the computer and hone in on it and dig in right into the problems.
My responsibilities are to make sure the pipe in the ground is maintained physically and inspected weekly. We cathodically protect the pipeline, which means we put electricity on it to keep it from corroding. We run an inline inspection tool through it once every 5 years. And we have quarterly meetings for the local risk management team, which mean that we sit down with experts and we talk about risks that pose to our pipeline. We get out there on a weekly basis with an airplane, and that's really the baseline. We look at the right-of-way and the pilot will tell us what they think a concern might be. And starting from that point, we go out physically and we look at the landowner's property. Sometimes we have to go out in person and patrol it on foot, but in trucks because the airplane can't fly. But the partnership comes into play when we have landowners who are the eyes and ears. They really know the property well, and they call us and they let us know that we need to come out and look at something.
While permanent pipeline markers are located at roads, railways, and other intervals along the right-of-way, these show only the approximate location of the buried pipelines. Working with one-call programs such as Miss Dig can accurately pinpoint pipeline locations and prevent mishaps.
Everyone knows storms can cause damage, but that's not the leading cause. It's third-party excavation. 811 is a way to prevent damage. You call the number, it goes to a one-call system, that ticket is generated in a computer, and it is given to our damage prevention specialists. But when people don't use one call, and they don't use 811, that's when we get damage to our pipeline.
The system is simple to use. Just dial 811 3 days before you're ready to dig. Someone will come to your home and mark all of the pipes and wires in your yard. It's as simple as that to be safe. Even so, pipelines are continuously monitored electronically away from the site for any signs of damage or change.
All of our pipelines are managed by our Operations Control Center, also called the OCC. Our controllers monitor our lines 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. They're able to do this because they're receiving information from instrumentation that's installed along the entire length of the pipeline. So they get information like flow, pressure, temperature, hydraulic information about how all the lines are operating. All of our controllers are highly qualified and regularly trained. If they observe something that doesn't seem to be normal, they can take action promptly. They can shut off the pumps, which are what move our products through our lines. They can also close valves to isolate a particular pipeline segment. It's really a good use of technology.
In the unlikely event of an incident, preparation is critical, and the partnership is the key.
The purpose of having spill drills is to raise our employees' experience level in response, to be better prepared in case an incident does happen, so that we can practice the steps that it takes to reduce the risk and also function in a incident command system structure. In the event of an incident, the priorities would be to evaluate the situation, protect the public, the workers involved, and have clear communication with everyone involved, including first responders.
We train on an average of once a month, 1 day a month, and various equipment that we use, such as air monitoring, sampling, booming. These are all items that we use and train with. When we are called to an incident, it's generated through the 911 system. The operator at the 911 system tries to get us as much information as possible as to what the caller is seeing, what they're hearing, what they smell. Fire departments respond along with police agencies and the ambulance service. Our goal is to identify what is being spilled, who the operator of the pipeline is, start the evacuation, and get some long-term information that we would need, such as how bad the spill is and how to mitigate it.
I think that all of us, whether it's you're a township official or just the resident that lives along the pipeline, should be aware of that pipeline being there. Talk about pipelines. Talk about where they're at. And if you have questions, call your local official. Call your fire service, because they definitely are aware, and they can direct you to get the information you need.
Pipes are still the safest and most economical way to transport the product to fuel our nation's economic engine. The pipeline network quietly moves beneath our feet the resources we need, from production areas and ports of entry to America's consumers, airports, military bases, cities, and businesses every day. An industry-wide commitment to high standards of security, monitoring, and response, along with strong partnerships in participating communities, will ensure efficient, safe, and reliable delivery of energy for decades to come.
As committed to safety and accident prevention as Wolverine is, we can't do it alone. Proper construction, maintenance, testing, and monitoring of pipelines is not enough. Building and maintaining strong community partnerships through programs like PIPE is still at the core of successful outcomes, and promoting awareness is the key to preventing accidents. Eyes and ears along our national pipeline network can assist with identifying potential problems, such as unauthorized excavations on the right-of-way. Everyone can contribute to safety and security by knowing where pipelines are in their communities, how to recognize unauthorized activity or abnormal conditions that could be a leak, and how to respond in the case of a pipeline accident. Everyone should also be aware of his or her state's system for contacting the local one-call center. Anyone planning to dig or excavate, whether it is building a fence, digging drainage, ditches, adding an addition to a house, or building a new facility, is responsible for contacting the state's one-call center first to ensure that underground utilities are not hit during digging or excavation activities. To find out how you can learn more about pipelines in your community, visit our website or attend one of our public presentations.